What's up, everybody? Chris at Webinar Grow here. We are going to break down a webinar. This time it's from Bonjoro. Now, Bonjoro is a really interesting platform. It allows you to create amazing customer relationships with video. I actually got a Bonjoro message from a software platform years ago from one of their customer service team welcoming me to their platform. I thought it was such a cool thing. It was so personal, really gave me a connection right away with that platform. So if you're doing customer success or customer experience, really cool platform to check out. And before we go any further, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like and subscribe button below, really appreciate it. Helps grow this small channel. And let's get into it. So for this webinar, I actually got a chance to view it live. Here's the confirmation page here. The subject was how to streamline content creation in just 1 hour a week with Sarah Block from Tiny Marketing. I apologize, I cannot find the original registration page, but it was on Demio. So it'll be a pretty straightforward page with this copy here. And let's just dive into the topic and see what we got here. So already right away, I can see we're starting off with a pretty good topic, how to streamline content creation in just 1 hour a week. I love when you have statements about time or money or something very concrete. One thing I might change with this topic is the word streamline, or at least give it more context, because right now it doesn't really mean anything. Right? Like how to streamline it, like what? What am I doing in 1 hour a week? How much content can I create in 1 hour a week? So maybe if we were going to workshop this title a bit, maybe it would be something along the lines of how to create a month's worth of content in 1 hour or something like that. Cool? And let's take a look at the webinar itself. I was on this live, so here's the replay page. By the way, Demio, one of my favorite live webinar platforms, and their replays are really good as well. So you can see here, they've got this branded, nice slides already, and then we have the copy. So actually here's the copy from the landing page. One of the biggest struggles for companies is finding time to consistently produce new content. Big pain point. I love leading with this, struggling what to talk about online. And then we have info about our speaker. So Sarah Noel Block is a pro in helping small companies build an easy process for content creation. So that might be something I'd put in the title, right? How to create your content in 1 hour a week with no stress, something like that. Just giving a bit more oomph than the word streamline. Sarah has a talent for helping businesses discover high-level content themes. Her framework allows small B2Bs and entrepreneurs build strong marketing strategies that scale. It's all good bio info. Sarah's experience and tips are a gift, and we're going to dive into ways you can discover how to produce this content on a regular basis in less time. Now we're getting onto something. That's something I would dive into, like producing a month's worth of content in an hour a month or something like that, or a week's worth of content in 1 hour. Then we see in this 1 hour session, you'll find out how to streamline content creation, email marketing, and social media. So we've already said that, so I don't really love this as a bullet point. You could maybe workshop this more of a benefit, like what happens when you create this content, right? What do you get? Do you get more sales, leads? This is how to create a full content calendar, whatever it is. Strategies how to 6x your content marketing efforts. Again, it's a nice benefit, but I would prefer to have something along the lines of a clearer result, right? How to, turning one blog post into 50 different pieces of content, or how to repurpose your existing videos into whatever, right? Being a bit more specific. And then how to create a multimedia content generation system. And again, I like where this is going. I would just have more fun with this. Give more of a wow factor of like, okay, well, what do you mean? Like a multimedia, like, so you could do something like how to repurpose your content into video, memes, text, more, schedule it on autopilot, right? Just painting the picture a bit better. And then we have bios for everybody. This is great. Goes to their web pages, which is cool. And then we have our page here. And before I get into the webinar itself, I would point out your webinar replay page is a critical place to have a call to action, right? We have the video here, awesome. We have some info. We can go to their website. But what do you want me to do with this info? Don't hide it in the webinar. If you have a call to action, put it here on your replay page. If it's book a time to talk with me, check out a free trial, whatever that is, right? Put this right here. Don't make people work for it because they're just going to go, oh, okay, and then forget. Cool. So let's dive right into this webinar here. So we see here we got some intro stuff. I was actually on this. They do some great stuff with interacting with the audience. Hey, where are you from? And then as they dive in, introducing themselves,
before we get started, what role is everybody in?
So then she does a great question about what role is everyone in. So she actually did a poll here. If you know me, I love polls in webinars. I think they're a great tool for engagement. So she had a poll about, are you a marketer? Are you a founder? Are you a business owner? So this is great because it lets people identify themselves and gets information for you, right? So as the webinar marketer, you can go, oh, my audience is 30% business owners or 50% marketers, whatever that is. Helps you work on your calls to action and your downstream marketing after the event.
Because that will make a difference in how I talk to you about.
Right, so it's gonna let you know like, hey, this is gonna be customized for you, which I like. Then we talk about your goal. So then she had people in the chat talking about what your goal is for content creation. And then there was a little bit of time here about people typing in sales or generating leads.
So content marketing, when it comes to sales, it's a great way to reduce that friction on sales calls.
So this is cool. I like this. My only note on this might be that it's a bit late into the webinar. We're about 8 minutes in. So at this point, I would probably go, hey, let's just get right into it, or have something written out here, right? Because I'm looking at the video, we talk about this for a while. And then we dive right into the content.
You get to know them a little bit better. And
so let's take a look here. So she talks about something that she likes to do, which is video content. And one thing I do want to point out, Sarah put a ton of great content in this webinar. So I'll link to it below this video. A lot of great strategies, a lot of great tools to use. So, I mean, really chock full of great info.
Now, in the chat, tell me, what do you think that you could do consistently?
So this is like asking a question about what you could do consistently for your content, your base piece of content. In this case, she was talking about video, and then dives into her process for that.
All at the same time. If you want more SEO juice from your videos.
And then she talks about how to transcribe your videos using this tool, Scribby. So actually, I've never heard of it. I've used other ones like otter.ai or Descript or rev.com, but they're all pretty much the same. They either use AI or they use a person transcribing it. I will say, if I was diving in here, doing this webinar, before I would even get into the how, I would paint the picture of what can happen when you do that, right? Because sometimes we assume like, oh, they know why this is important, right? Like, oh, how to create loads of content in an hour a week, but why? What do I get from it? A personal anecdote, a story, statistics. This is where you can beef up your webinar without you having to do lots of internal work, right? You can just look at, hey, what's something your customer experienced, right? I love this kind of beginning and now story of like, hey, so-and-so, before this process, they were only doing one blog post a month. Now they have 50 blog posts a month. Their traffic increased this much. And if you don't have access to big studies, you can make it more anecdotal as well. So it could just be a single customer's experience or something that you've seen industry-wide without giving numbers. But just paint the picture a bit before you get into the how of it. But this is all great info. She talks about how to use the transcription feature, how to hire writers to make these articles. So this is all really good stuff. Like, this is really more so than even a lead generation webinar, like a webinar on standard operating procedures or SOPs. She goes into some great stuff here on the article.
Way faster to write your articles, AI suggested copy, which you can edit.
So then she goes into this, and really she gives a lot of great hows here. So again, I'll link to this below. And then how to use social graphics and create those yourself using Canva. So one thing I would point out here again is that a lot of great information, right? She's giving you how, but not as much why as maybe we would like, right? Because I was on this webinar, I watched the whole thing, I enjoyed it, thought it was great content. But for me, if I want to take action, like, show me why this is important. Even if you think I already know, tell me again. Because sometimes we're just not clear, or as a decision maker, I'm going, okay, well, like, what do I do now? Am I hiring people to do this? Right? So like, because there's a lot of nuts and bolts of it, which is great. Talking about how to use social media and recycling your content. In this case, she was talking about meetedgar.com, which, speaking of webinars, Meet Edgar, Laura Roeder over there, the founder, has done an incredible job growing this company with webinars. So if you're ever in the social media space, highly recommend checking out the Edgar webinars because they're absolutely fantastic.
My rule of thumb for anybody who's working in-house, let me look back at that poll, form that recycles.
So again, giving great context here to like where to do all this stuff. I mean, really giving a step-by-step thing here, turning things into promotional emails. And she's using tools here. In this case, this was a new tool that she was recommending.
It gave me the option to...
So really goes into some interesting stuff here about how to design these emails and using these tools, and gives, again, a how of how to do it, right? So she's giving you step-by-step instructions on how to do this. You could actually charge for a webinar like this. You know, I'd probably, if I was in this space, I'd probably pay $50 or $100 just to get this information, right? So again, really good information. One thing I would point out here though, again, if I'm looking at this, there's not a clear call to action just yet. And what I mean by that is like we see our website, but not necessarily like a package, or like you really want to spell things out here when you get to your offer, right? So for example, this is a webinar from Bonjoro, really cool company, does a lot of fun stuff. I'm not sure how this relates to their product, to be honest. Like if I was at Bonjoro, I'd be like, okay, I'm not sure why I'm sponsoring this or engaging this without tying this to my product in some way. Now, this doesn't have to be a sleazy sales process, but at the same time, it's like, well, it is your audience, right? So give them some reason to tie that to you.
So if you're committing to doing one video a month.
So again, really giving some how-tos, getting people from on next steps. I really like this. Also had a nice Q&A where she's answering questions. And then she gives some great content upgrades. And again, if you know me, I love the content upgrades on webinars. Give them some stuff here. She actually has a really cool content deep dive bonus that she gives, talking about ideal customer profiles. And if you haven't done that type of work with your target audience, highly recommend doing that, because your ideal customer will help you determine all of the content that you create. Then again, they go through some more tools here. In this case, she's showing SparkToro, which is a really cool product from Rand Fishkin, who used to, or maybe still runs Moz, serial entrepreneur, founds a lot of great companies, really cool product. And again, I think this is all great. She has her call to action here about scheduling a discovery call, but if you really wanted to have this a bit more streamlined, I would actually have used the offer button in Demio. Demio actually has a button that says, hey, schedule your call, and it'll pop up, you click on it, you can see who's clicked on it, and it allows you to trigger some workflows based on that. And again, don't make people work, right? When it's time for the offer, show exactly what you're offering. Hey, I can help you do this. Schedule your call here. And then going into more Q&A. And overall, this is a really good webinar. Really enjoyed the topic, enjoyed the content. It was really step-by-step, maybe even too much good content. If I was going to run this webinar again, I'd probably look at adding more stories, either anecdotal stories or even industry statistics about like, hey, this is what happens when companies do this. And it doesn't even have to be your own clients. You could just look and say, hey, this is what so-and-so has done driving traffic with this extra content. And since Sarah runs an agency, I would even talk about her own client experiences. Like, hey, when we take this over for clients and have this on slides, they boosted their traffic by 500 hits per day, something like that, right? Then I would also tie this into whatever software platform is there, because she showed a lot of software platforms here. So the call to action would be to go to one particular place. And then finally, having a call to action that I could track and get that engagement. And I just want to point out really quick here too, and then she gave some great links and resources from the webinar. So again, talks about this product flow desk with a link there, video trainings, and connecting on LinkedIn. All nice calls to action. I like the follow-up, and overall, really good webinar. And that's just another webinar breakdown from Webinar Grow. If you like this type of content, feel free to comment below. And if you have any suggestions, hit us up anytime. Can't wait to hear from you.